everybody, it's Christine, and today is day 30 of 30 days of sketches of Christy's beautiful life. It is the very last day, and I'm sad because I really enjoyed this entire series. So definitely I'll be participating next, I guess, series 10. This is today's sketch. It is by Christy herself, and it looks actually kind of nice and simple in a sense. I've got a paper on a mat, on a back mat or whatever. There's little squares making up, a little pattern there, a couple of photos, a couple of embellishments, title, subtitle. What I've got out is, don't know what inspired me on this, to be frank with you, but just for whatever reason, I decided to use these ones. Well, yes, I do. I was kind of going through my pictures because I knew I wanted 2 pictures, and I found these. They're from 2005. They're of my daughter. And she's got a little sunburn going on here. I guess I wasn't being a good mama. I don't know how that happened, to be honest with you, but okay. Anyway, we were in Galveston. So she's all beachy and sunshiny. So I then moved to figure I wanted to use this simple storage, simple vintage coastal. And then kind of going along with the sketch, and I'll just set it right here as a printout so you can kind of see. What I've decided, I did get into my stash because I wanted to, there was no solids that I wanted to use that were big enough. So I did find this old, I don't know who made this, to be honest with you, but it's got a little wood grain pattern on it. It's really kind of pretty. Cardstock. And then I found this pattern here to be my, imagining that piece of paper there. And then the collection had this whole sheet of these little cut aparts, which is perfect. I can use several of these here. I haven't picked out which ones, but they're all kind of beachy and, well, beachy, duh. Life is better at the beach, that kind of stuff. So that looked kind of perfect. I do not know. I may end up matting them just to give them a little definition, but I haven't decided yet. I'm going to cut them out first and see what I got. And then I got into my stash as well because I do have the sticker sheet. And there's some, there's still some stickers, but it's not really a title. I mean, I could have used Fun in the Sun or The Beach Life, but those I think are a little too small. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So I did go in my stash and I found this little set here. I think there may be a Maggie Holmes, but I don't honestly, I've taken them out of the packaging. And there's Sunshine or Sun Plus Shine and then Summer. So I'm kind of imagining I might make it Summer Sun or something like that. Or Summer Sunshine, who knows. So that's what I got to go with. I'm going to trim my little pieces and get this started, and I'll trim these out and see where I'm at, and we will come back shortly. Talk soon. Okay, everybody. So here's what I've got done so far. So I'll just refresh your memory on the sketch here. So technically these squares, honestly, they look to be like 2.5 inches, which would give you, theoretically like 4 piece going across and down. My little cut apart here, these little guys, I believe are 2 inches. So I'm going to end up with a little bit more, which is totally fine by me. That does not hurt my feelings, not one bit. So what I've done is I've trimmed off, some of these things, and most of them are pretty much totally fine. I don't have anything that, nothing sticks out to me as like, oh gosh, that doesn't go with the theme at all. So I've kind of laid them down, and the pictures are going to go, like this, whatever. So they'll cover up a little bit, here, but that's totally fine. I may trim this down a little bit because there's some randos here photo bombing. So I might cut these down just a little, which is just fine. But I'm also going to come in and ink the edges of these guys because some of them are getting a little bit lost. Like this one laying on this is a little bit lost. And I have this evergreen bow, or is it pronounced bow? I guess it may be pronounced bow, evergreen bow. And I kind of messed with it on the edge of this paper here to see what it looked like. And I think that's a pretty good color to go with. So what I'm going to do now is go along. I'm going to ink all these. I'm going to ink the edge of the main paper here as well. And I'll glue these down, and then I'm going to trim these guys. And then the next thing, I'll come back on camera after I do all that because that's pretty monotonous. And I'll start figuring out, I may even go ahead and mat these. I have not figured out which mats, but I have plenty of paper to choose from. So I will come back on here and show you where I'm at, and we'll go back to, go and fast forward, I think, at that point. Alrighty, talk soon. Okay, guys, as I mentioned, I have inked the edges of all my little 2-inch squares here with that evergreen bow ink. And now I've already stuck down about half of these. I didn't think y'all wanted to sit and watch me stick them all down. So I have stuck down. Right now, since it's upside down, it's the right hand, like up and down row, vertical row. but it's technically the left-hand side. Those are already stuck down, so I'm just using those as my reference point and using my little T-square here to create my little kind of grid. And this was pretty quick and easy. I mean, honestly, having these little cut-apart squares in the collection was a perfect fit to this sketch, so I'm pretty pleased with that whole deal. On the whole, I really love this layout. It's actually not very complicated. It was a good little ending sketch here, and I'm really pleased with how the colors came together. I really like that right there. So now I've got my pictures. I did trim them down, I think a little 1/4 inch, just to pull out a little of the dead space. Then I've got this solid, I guess it's a blue that was the back side of the cut apart, the little squares, and then I have that green, and then I have that pink. And those are, I think they're the B sides, if I'm honest. There's a pattern on the back side of each of these. I really like the pattern, I think, on the green, but I wouldn't have had enough to create the mat. So I've gone ahead and cut away. I just basically matted those photographs with those 3 colors I showed you. Now here I kind of fass around with these photos. I'm like, I need to overlap them, you know, la, la, la. I didn't necessarily want... I didn't really know what I wanted to do here because my daughter's going to probably be mad about the fact that it's not a terribly flattering picture, but I mean, my God, she's 7 or something, so who cares, right? So in my mind, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll show all the water. But in the end, I decided just to overlap her full face picture, or whatever you want to call that, over the water of the other picture because the water really wasn't doing anything. I mean, it's just empty space technically in the picture, so it looked kind of cool, and it created the right kind of spacing. So then I go back to my little sticker sheets over there, those little, like, enamel puffy stickery things. They're like enamel, but they're kind of thick and puffy. And I find I knew sunshine was on there, and I saw the summer, and I'm kind of playing around with that, and I happen to glance over and I see the word bright. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I can use bright summer sunshine. So before I see the bright, though, actually I'm like, I got summer, and I was going to put it down, and it wasn't really fitting right. So that's when I ended up deciding to go ahead and put... Well, technically, I'm not even sure. I don't know if I was going to use shine originally either. But then after I put the sun on there and I realized, you know, summer couldn't fit there. Anyways, I just made it all work. I kind of respaced everything. And I really enjoy how this turned out with the summer sunshine. And then, as I mentioned, I kind of glanced over at the sticker sheet again. Oh, my end flew off. Little slippery booger. Y'all ever watch Pretty Woman? Y'all, and she's at that dinner and she's trying to get those little oysters out of that deal, and she's got that little spoon or something. It just flings off into the air, and the waiter catches it, and she goes, slippery little boogers. That has nothing to do with this layout, but every time something slips out of my hand, I think of that scene. Anyway, I find that word bright, and I think that looks great. I'm honestly, I just love how that turned out. It says bright summer sunshine, right? And I'm kind of basically making reference to her little sunburn there, which I think is, you know, it's summer and sunshine. So now I'm making my way through, and I need these little embellishment clusters as per the sketch. And I put those birds up there originally. Now, the problem with the birds being up there is they're really looking the wrong direction. You know, she's looking off that way, but then her other photo kind of coming in the inside. Now they kind of meet in the middle, right? But then birds being up there and sticking them looking off to the side, that don't look right. So I take that down, and I end up putting this pretty little floral up there. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. And so then I make my way down to the lower lower right. And there's a little bit of an embellishment cluster on the sketch down there. And I love these little tickets. I think I pull these little tickets off next. And one says, see more, I think it says, and the other one says beach day. I just layer those up and create myself a little cluster down there. And then I move over to the left-hand side, and I see this little rope ring. And I'm thinking, okay, I want to build myself a little holding thing to hold some of these stickers. And I put them birds there, and that looks kind of cute. I like that. And then there was a little starfish, and then, of course, this cute little flamingo. She looks like a flamingo in the water over there, right? That's what I'm thinking. And I'm kind of building out this little set down here, and I kind of like it. And I find the little word beachy. Now, none of these so far have I decided. Well, I'm not going to say I haven't decided. I know in my head I'm probably going to put foam tape under something because y'all know how I am. So I do cover up the word. There was actually on that it's a tiny little square of pineapples, and it said something like be sweet or stand tall and be sweet or something. But that's not really applicable here. So I did cover up the little word sweet with life's a beach, one of the little like ticket looking deals. And so I'm just kind of looking around, and I see that lizard on there. I like that little lizard. There's no real reason for me to like that little lizard. But for some reason, I seem to remember maybe seeing lizards. In fact, I'm almost certain, because she was kind of, this whole trip was actually related to one of my college classes, some kind of science deal. It was like an oceanography class, and the teacher made this field trip, if you want to call it a field trip when you're in college. He kind of organized, the class got to travel down to Galveston, not as a group, but, we met down there, and he had organized all these little, like, excursions, and one of them, I think, was we used like a special net or something, and they were looking at, we were gathering animals and kind of looking, little water animals and looking at them. And I want to say there was some kind of lizard or fish or something in one of those nets. Who knows? It's been 20 years ago, give or take. So that's all right. So anyway, sorry about the head there. Y'all, I'm always leaning over and y'all are seeing my head. And it is time for me to get my hair colored this week, by the way. So you've got a little more gray in there. So I'm deciding to put a little bit of foam tape underneath the starfish and the little word beachy, and I put just a tiny little piece under my flamingo's body, and I think the only thing I put some tape under is the right side of the floral and the arrow on the far right side over there. Most everything else, there's enough to mention in the actual title letters, and yeah, that's pretty much, there's actually not much else. I don't have to put so much foam tape this time, so it didn't take me so long, so I didn't cut it out, but I do go ahead and put my starfish up on some tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit behind my flower there, just to kind of, because it's coming off the edge of those pictures, and that always create, when you put multiple layers, multiple mats behind the pictures, you end up with different, kind of thickness, and you need a little something on the side of your embellishment sticker there. So I put that there, and then I have that little arrow too. I really like that little arrow. And then I'm looking and I go, okay, these letters are going to fall off. I got to glue them on here. Now this part's pretty boring, so I'll just kind of natter a little bit, I guess. So yeah, we went on this little trip. One of the other things we got to do, which was kind of cool, is they had it was called a turtle barn. We had been going to Galveston for years as like little vacation stuff, like usually a long weekend or something like that. I mean, back before my daughter was even born, my husband and I would go with the couples down there and just hang out and do things. And I had never even heard of this darn turtle barn. And I think it was free. I don't think we had to pay. You go and they're raising all these turtles in these tanks, and what they do is they raise them, and then I guess at some point they let them go, because I want to say they're sea turtles is what they are. I'm trying to remember now, but I had no idea that was even down there, and this man set that up, and that was kind of cool. And then we did this thing where you go out to this I don't think technically was the ocean, because Galveston's an island. It must have been the ocean. I can't honestly remember. I know we're in the water, but it wasn't like it was the beach, you know what I mean? This was some kind of, I feel like it was like a little inland deal, but I don't know. Anyway, it was a bunch of water, and we dug around with these nets. Now, there was a sign that said, watch out for snakes, so that was kind of shocking in the sense of, like, I've got my little child with me. I don't want her stepping on no snake. I mean, we have tons of snakes in Texas, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't intended to expose my child to it, so that was a little alarming, but it was still kind of a cool trip. We went down there, like I said, we did all this kind of neat we also did something out on the beach, and I don't remember what it was either, but it was all kind of geared toward looking at, the nature and the animals and things like that. So, okay, now here's the last little bit I'm kind of doing. Well, not technically. I got a little more to do, but I found on these stickers, the sketch called for some florals, and on my sticker sheet, there was these kind of enamel florals, these black and whites, and I thought, okay, that's kind of cool, and it goes with the title up there, that Bright Summer, so I decided to add those, and I was real pleased with that. I thought that turned out neat. And you can even see, like in the one picture where she's walking in the water, there's a little bit of, I don't know, seaweed or something. All right, so here's where I decided, you know what, I'm going to add a little something. So I took the ink that I had used on the edges, that distressed oxide stuff. I said, I'm going to make me a little bit of splitter splatter, and I put it on my little mat over there. I was real pleased with myself, although them splattering on my thing, I'm not using the mat, so who knows. And I got my paintbrush, and I just sprinkled that all around. I actually really liked how that turned out. It's kind of a pretty color, and I put it in my little areas where the clusters kind of are, and I was real proud. I'm getting better at this mixed media stuff. I'm not a perfectionist yet. I mean, I don't know that I know all the things, and I don't have all the skills, but I'm getting better. So now I'm going to slow it down and show it to you. I'm really pleased how this turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching me this whole month if you have been. And if you haven't and you decide to go back, I really appreciate that too. Like and subscribe, and please make sure you look at all the other people's links too. So much inspiration, you guys. This is such a fun series. I'm so excited to have you guys watch, and I will see you guys next time. And actually, I mean, if you subscribe, you can see all kinds of videos. All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.